Thank you for joining me for today's Art Talk with Musings on Art. Today we are going to take a look at some of the highlights from my 2018 Summer Art Tour in Russia. My name is Cathy Locke. I'm a San Francisco-based figurative painter, graduate professor, and the editor-in-chief of Musings on Art. While in St. Petersburg, we went to the Repin Academy, formerly the Imperial Academy. As a fine arts painter, one of the highlights of the collection at the Academy is Nikolai Feshin's Cabbage Gathering, done in 1909. We can see these wonderful textures that he built up. This painting is quite large. I would make a guess that it's probably 12 feet wide by 10 feet tall, something like that. And it's just a very lovely, playful scene. Okay, so here's our group of artists standing in front of Feshin's painting. Important thing for us to do. And right next door to that painting is a painting that Ilya Repin's students did at the end of the 1800s. It's a Repin's studio, and you can go through and find all the famous Russian artists of the period that were his students. One exciting thing that we did is we went upstairs and saw all the models to the buildings that put together St. Petersburg, and you just get to see how much thought went into all these buildings. They were so amazing. And of course we visited lots of museums. This would be the Russian Museum. And then over at the Hermitage, this is our beautiful Selena in front of Francois Flaming's beautiful portrait of Duchess Dora Lichtensteinbergskaya, done in 1896. Here I am in front of one of my favorite pieces by Monet. So every year that I go to the Hermitage, they're always bringing out new paintings, and now that they have 800 new rooms in these new state office buildings, they're bringing out more and more every year. So here we see a little pastel by Edward Degas, Two Dancers, 1897 to 1898. Pablo Picasso, Boy with a Dog, 1905, gouache on cardboard and pastel. Gustave Courbet, Reclining Woman, 1865 to 1866. Here we have a number of pieces by an artist from the United States, Rockwell Kent. This is Early November, North Greenland, 1932. The Cliffs of Ireland, 1926. Dan Ward Stack, Ireland, 1926. Here are a series of paintings by Albert Edelfelt. This one is Washerman, 1893. Here we have Portrait of Marie Jakowski von Ehrhoff, 1896. In the Nursery, 1885. Formerly the collection of Emperor Alexander III. Now the work of the amazing Dutch artist Paulus Maurice, Portrait of a Young Woman, 1635. Another Dutch artist, Jacob Isaac van Ruysdael, Peasant Cottage in a Landscape, 1646. Now some work by the Russian realist painter Mikhail Kolt, In the Ploughland, oil on canvas, 1871. Russian artist Pavel Duzhugon, The Storm. And of course, no trip to the Hermitage is complete without a little Kandinsky. And of course, we did lots and lots of eating. All kinds of food. Italian food is very popular in Russia.
Wow, that means you too.
And this is a night of beef stroganoff. And just lots of fun places and running around the town and seeing the beauty of the place. Having fun. This is at Teplo, which is a very popular restaurant, and we also got to see the city through the canal. And we were lucky that they had a holiday when we were there, and we got to see some amazing fireworks on one of our last nights in St. Petersburg. So it was a great way to say goodbye to the city and just enjoy the beauty of the place. Okay, so then we moved on to Moscow, and here's the group in front of the Trefikov Gallery. I've done quite a bit of videos on the Trefikov, but just some highlights include Isaac Levitan, this little piece here, and Konstantin Koravan, one of my favorite pieces by him. And then they had a special exhibit of drawings by Ivan Kramskoy, so I was able to capture a few. Okay, then we were off to the new Trefikov building, and we've got to see some beautiful pieces by Arkady Plastov. Then a very special exhibition by Valery Kuslavkov. He's a contemporary artist living today, and he does these really large pieces that are done on cardboard. And the pieces that we got to see were cityscapes of Rome. And he pieced together all of these pieces of cardboard and painted, I believe it's with gouache on top of that. It's really a very exciting piece. I mean, there was, I think, 4 pieces, and they were all really fun to look at and explore. They're huge, so, like 16 feet high. Another special exhibit at the new Trefikov was one of the work of Jelly Korshev, a very exciting artist who was part of the austere movement. So it's a retrospective of his work. This piece is called Morning, 1997 to 99. This one is Judas. And here we have Delusion, 1996. These are all oil on canvas. This one's extremely powerful. It's called Mother, 64 to 67. We have Night Call, 1993 to 95. And then this is the Annunciation. And I just shot a bunch of shots of various sculpture at the museum. And then we popped over to the Pushkin Museum and saw an exhibition of prints by various sculpture artists. So I thought they were really quite beautiful. Okay, so the Pushkin Museum's European building has an extraordinary collection, and I've done movies on it before. This is particularly one image of a painting by Renoir It's had several different names, one of which is Nude, the other is Beautiful Anna. It was painted in 1876, oil on canvas. In 1898, Peter Shushinkin purchased this painting. So now I'll take you into the museum when we were talking about it. The critics said it looked like Locke. So this painting was actually thrown in as a deal for Peter Shushinkin, who was the older of the Shushinkin brothers. He bought a Japanese screen and they gave him this painting for free. And so what he did is he had this painting in his study, and after dinner he would invite the gentlemen up to have a cigar and brandy, and he had this painting behind a velvet curtain. And so he would take the gentleman into his study, he would roll up the curtain, and he would display the painting. And he would tell them, forgive the weakness of the old bachelor. The next piece is by Edgar Degas. It's called Blue Dancers, and it was done in 1898. It's pastel on paper. This piece is the same young girl, and she's drawn in circles as a symbol of eternity. And the blue is one of the colors that symbolists of that period used a lot. Had to do with the other side, the other side of reality. So this is one of his later pieces, and it was done after the height of Impressionism. So it means the other side, or the spiritual side, right? And then this idea of a circle is eternity, and then women, anytime you see women, that's, eternity, because we can... Did he do very many kind of things? Yeah, he did a lot of symbolism. And a really important thing about this is Degas was all about line. So this is all down to... This museum also has a very important collection of Paul Cézanne's work. Here we have Bridge Over the Banks of the Marne, 1888 to 1994. Cézanne referred to his painting style as painterly architectonics, and so we can really see a lot of structure in his work. Bicycle, the super slick, smooth surface, and then how the artisan school started to really bring active brushwork into the world, and so that now Cézanne is really developing the, structure and weight and paint using brush, right? And so he's developing a real painterly quality, and I think you can really see that in his still lifes. Even more so. And then here we are out and about at the Kremlin territories. This is a cathedral in Red Square called Kazan Cathedral. It has a very important history in Russia dating back to the Old Believers. It was destroyed by the communists, by Stalin, and rebuilt in 1993. There's a tour company that uses this cathedral as their homepage for their St. Petersburg tour. But alas, it has been in Red Square for centuries. In front of St. Basil's. So I hope you enjoyed this little overview. If you're interested in traveling to Russia, we've put together a number of really exciting tours. Just go to RussianArtTour.com. We're offering them throughout the year, and they're to various different places at different cost platforms. And if you want to just learn more about the art in Russia and artists and artist practice and all that sort of thing, I've put together a very extensive online magazine located at musingsonart.org, and it's free to browse. As well, we have a gallery of artists from around the world who are selling their fine art paintings and sculptures, and we also sell prints of European masters and Russian masters. So thanks so much for joining me today.